Texas Roadhouse press conference. Really good week this past week for UTPB athletics. Men's soccer pulled out a 2-1 win over Colorado Christian last week in their season opener, scoring a couple goals late in the game. Volleyball went 4-0 this past weekend, including winning the Dr. Steve Eisnina Invitational with a perfect record, and they won all 12 of their sets this week. Football's coming off a 60-7 win over Wayland Baptist, where they set a school record for points and a margin of victory. And cross country is coming off a strong showing with a whole lot of freshmen running well this past week up at West Texas A&M. We've got a busy week coming up this week. Tuesday is the first edition of the Justin Kerrigan Show on Rock 95.1 with Sam Young, who does our radio play-by-play this year. That will be from 6 to 7 at Sid and Sam's Scratch Kitchen right on the corner of campus. Public's welcome to come for that hour-long show. Thursday starts our game week this week. Volleyball will be in Lubbock playing 4 matches. They start with Dixie State at 5 o'clock. And women's soccer is back home on campus against Wayland Baptist at 7 o'clock on Thursday. Friday, volleyball is on the court at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. against Black Hill State and Southwest Oklahoma State. And men's soccer starts their 3-game road trip on the West Coast with a 9 o'clock match at Cal State Monterey Bay. Saturday, swimming is on campus. They have their annual orange and white meet at the pool at 11 o'clock. Volleyball takes on Pittsburgh State to close out their weekend in Lubbock. Women's soccer is at University of the Southwest in Hobbs at 1 o'clock. And football will be in Midland for our annual Midland game at 6 o'clock against Northern Michigan. We're holding a promotion this coming week called Take a Kid to the Game. Any kid ages 0 to 12 that presents this voucher at the ticket office, or not at the ticket office, at the gate, will get in free as long as they're with a paid adult. So this voucher will be passed out at the schools in Midland, and this will also be available on our website later today. This is presented by Midland MISD and the City of Midland, so we'd like to thank them for helping us out with this. And then Sunday, we close out the week when men's soccer takes on Cal State East Bay in their second of 3 games Sunday afternoon in California. All right, we'll start today with senior middle hitter Travana Matthews, who currently leads the Lone Star Conference with a .569 hitting percentage, and the Falcons currently lead the conference in overall team hitting at .302 after a perfect 4-0 week. So Travana, talk about this past week heading into your senior year and how you guys can take the momentum going from here forward.
This past weekend was a great way to start our season. I think it gave us a lot of things to look forward to working on, as well as a lot of things that show our strength. I'm excited for this upcoming weekend because this upcoming weekend will just help us further cement all the stuff that we did this past weekend.
So what were some of the things that you just mentioned that you liked from what you saw from the team and carrying over to this next weekend? What were some of those things that you hope to carry over?
Well, last year we were a middle-dependent team, and this year I feel like we have all positions kind of firing. Like, it doesn't matter if one person gets taken out. Like, there's an outside, there's a right side to hit. We don't have to worry about the middle hitting every single time, and that kind of takes the stress off of one position and allows all the position to kind of get some shine.
And overall, obviously, you had a great weekend yourself. What do you attribute to the accuracy you've shown so far?
Lots and lots of work. It's just been a long journey, and I feel like throughout the discipline and the stuff that Coach taught me, I was able to become the player that I am today.
And, outside of the numbers, you being already at this point and experienced, what from your past years do you think have attributed to your success as far as the experience that you've accumulated over this time?
I think it would be just the people that Coach has surrounded us with. Like, these people keep pushing me to love volleyball and see why I do it. Because sometimes it gets hard if you're just sitting there by yourself and you get down on yourself because of the stats or because you didn't have a great game. So those people on the team that pick you up and they're like, hey, it's okay, we go on. Those people keep you playing, and that's the great thing about being in a team sport.
What are some things that you guys do to the long season? What are some things you guys do to keep things fresh in practice and just keep it fun?
Well, I think we hold each other accountable, and that's one thing that keeps us focused. And to keep it fun, we're a really goofy team. I don't know if you saw this game this past weekend. We were all dancing on the sideline. Every time someone got a kill, we were all falling on the floor and stuff like that. And that energy that we have this year, that's what keeps us going.
How much of a confidence? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're good.
interrupt. How much was a confidence boost? How much of a confidence boost is it to start off the season with those wins?
We haven't really been known to start off so early like that, and just starting off like that, 4-0, like, it's great. But I really hope that we stay humble.
Well, from the experience that you've had, how do you try and have the younger teams, the younger players rather, stay humble and just stay focused on the next one, on to the next one kind of mentality?
I think that comes with the communication, like in practice and on the court, reminding them like each play, hey, this is what's going to happen, this is what could happen, be ready for that. Stay focused, like, okay, yeah, you messed up, next ball, like make it up right here, make it up with the pass, like saying stuff like that and reminding them that the game goes on, that volleyball is a game of errors, like that keeps them going. Like somebody has to make the error to get the point, like that's just what happens.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up will be head volleyball coach Tim Lesh.
Good afternoon. Falcon Volleyball had a great weekend. We hosted the Dr. Isanina tournament and it went smoothly and we got off to a strong start with a 4-0 record. And before we take any questions, I wanted to first recognize Travana. She was named the MVP for our all-tournament team, and it's kind of been a coming out party for her. She's improved every year, and I'm glad to see her reaching her potential her senior year. And there's a couple other people I want to mention that aren't going to be on our all-tournament team. I think Travana would agree that our setters, Kiera Granado and Annalise Lucio, played a big part in our success this year. And because they share a position, our setter, kind of our quarterback, we run a two-setter system, just like football has two quarterbacks. And because of that, they don't get the recognition that other setters get that maybe are the only setter on their team. But they led our team to the highest hitting percentage in the conference, the most kills, most assists per set. Every setting statistic in the Lone Star, we lead in it because of that. And like Travana said, they have the team spirit. They're not in it for the glory, but I did want to mention them before we got started.
And when it comes to that two-setter style, obviously when it comes to setting, you want to find a groove with the hitters and that kind of thing. So how much tougher is it, in general, when you keep getting switched and trying to maintain that groove? I guess how impressive is it that they're able to maintain that groove even though they're switching out?
That's one of the drawbacks to running a two-setter system. They have to connect with all their hitters, and they have to set similarly, and they have to communicate, and they have to come off the bench and things like that are all very difficult. And for them to do that and do it at a high level, it's the most skilled position, and to have all those challenges in addition to putting the ball right where a setter wants it at the time they want it, just shows not just their physical skills but their mental capacity and focus and resiliency.
When it comes down to it with the two-setter system, do you think that pays off more down the stretch of the season when both are pretty fresh in general compared to a lot of setters that you say they're playing the whole match?
Yeah, it can be very helpful. Both of them have run the show by themselves for us and in high school and club, but yeah, they're just going to continue to improve and get better, and hopefully we can exceed what we did this weekend, as they get more reps and connect better with our hitters. But they got off to a great start for us offensively and really helped us have that balanced attack that Travana was talking about. It wasn't just one or two hitters. We had 4 or 5 hitters with big numbers and really posed a lot of problems to the opposing teams.
Obviously, when it comes to like a 4-0 start, it's as good as you can hope for, but in general, obviously as coach, what are some of the nitty-gritty things that you think can still be improved moving forward into this next weekend?
Yeah, there's a lot to still improve, and I think our volleyball vision has to improve. We made it harder than it should have been in a lot of opportunities, but adversity is good, and we were able to fight through that and still find a way to win. But we're going to face different teams this weekend and different challenges, and we have to be able to adapt and improvise and overcome, you know, those challenges quickly before the other team adapts to us or whatever. So that's really going to be the mark of how successful we are. Can we continue to improve? Can we, you know, be flexible enough to find different ways to win when our first option isn't working?
Coach, kind of going off that last question, just kind of tell us, you know, some of those challenges and expectations that you all anticipate, and going into this next tournament.
Yeah, we'll face a couple of tougher teams. We face a couple tough ones this weekend, but you know, they'll each bring different things. You know, some of them will run a one-setter system or two-setter, and we've got to know what defense they're playing. We'll face some bigger hitters and have to, you know, adjust our block. And they're going to have film on us, so they'll, you know, pose some problems to our offense that we're going to have to, you know, make some changes and figure out stuff throughout a match to continue to be successful. So, you know, that's kind of the challenge, the race to continue improving and stay ahead of the other teams that are trying to do the same throughout the season.
Going back to your original point about your setters, the new challenges is going to force them to be able to adjust on the fly, even without, I mean, you're not going to be able to talk to them all the time. So how, you know, how do they do, are they both capable of doing that, finding the people that they need to find all the time?
Yeah, so that is a huge challenge for them. And we have a third setter that's played some as well, and they really communicate well with each other. So while they're competing for playing time, they're great teammates, and they'll talk to each other on the bench. You know, this is working, this is not, this is what I see. And we do that during timeouts, we do that in between sets. They'll get together, and maybe one of our coaching staff will go with them and, you know, share what we see and, you know, what hitters are hot and what are not. But they do a great job of communication with each other and being engaged on the bench so that, you know, they can see what's going on even when they're not playing.
All right, any questions?
I just wanted to finish with thanking our athletic staff for helping pull off our first tournament ever. We got a lot of help from them and the parents on the team to make this weekend go smoothly. Thank you.
All right, we'll shift our gears now to football. Football's coming off a great 60-70 win over Wayland Baptist this past Saturday. They set a new school record of 60 points and had a 53-point margin in their victory. This week is a return game from last year against Northern Michigan out of the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletics Conference. Northern Michigan took last year's game 27-22 up at the Superior Dome in Marquette, Michigan. So we'll start today with senior wide receiver Kyle McBride, who's coming off a 6-catch, 123-yard performance with a touchdown this past week. Kyle, talk about your role as a senior wide receiver, playmaker, and what you were able to do this past week against Wayland Baptist.
Just make plays and just win the one-on-one matchups, I guess you could say, because battling on the other side, and we have Kobe doing his job, we have Ben doing his job. It just takes a lot of pressure off me, and just allows me to just win my matchup.
So when it comes to those one-on-one matchups, you mentioned everyone doing their part, which should be to your success. So how do you feel that teamwork as you guys go out there, that chemistry working and everyone just doing their part?
You could just see it on a lot of guys' faces. There was just like a lot of smiles on the field this past weekend. It's just like motivation and momentum. Just great to see everybody smiling.
What did you find more success in this over this past week? Like press coverage, zone coverage, man-to-man? What did you see out there?
Probably would be press coverage. Just knowing I'm going to beat them over the top. Just having fun.
What's the biggest change you can see in your game personally from the time you arrived on campus as a freshman to where you are now as a senior?
A lot of confidence. I remember when I first got here, I was junior because I transferred from Kilgore. And after I broke my toe, I had to sit out a whole year. So just getting confidence back is key.
What do you look forward to? Obviously the game, but what makes football fun for you?
Honestly, practice and a lot of younger guys too. They're fun. They're just fun to be around and they have a good time. And we're just focused. So
What about the mix and fun?
they all have different personalities, so you never know what you're going to get at practice.
How do you like to lead, all those personalities, for sure as a senior yourself?
Communication. I think communication's a whole lot better this year than it was in the previous years.
How did it feel to start off the season with that big of a win, especially on the offensive side of the ball?
It felt amazing. We were expected to win the game. We were expected to win. So we just went out there and did our job and just had fun doing it.
And then going forward, I guess what kind of confidence does that give you guys knowing that you started off the season with a big win?
Just knowing what we can do and what we can do to improve on.
What are some of those things that you feel like, even though, it's like Ryan said, a school record points, but what are some of the things that you feel you can still improve moving forward?
We didn't play a perfect game, so there's obviously still some things like getting better on the perimeter, blocking, just blocking the space, because that allows big runs and yeah.
You get a game this week against somebody you faced last year now, you have a little bit of an idea of the way that team plays. What's your preparation going to be like this week for them?
Same preparation. Just get ready for that game and got a chip on our shoulder. So.
Yeah, do you guys keep that in mind? The close game last year. Is that on your minds going into this one?
Oh yeah, we lose that one.
Does it give you some confidence though, knowing that it's at home this year? You don't have to travel.
Oh, that's a whole lot better actually.
Yeah.
Actually, the first game we had there, that was my first time flying, so it was kind of shaky. But yeah, definitely feels good to be home.
He's good.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next up will be head coach Justin Kerrigan.
Getting used to the mic, coach, about that everyone show.
No, I'm good, no show. Appreciate you guys coming out. Obviously, it's a lot more fun being on this side of the podium after a 60-7 victory. The one thing I talked about with our team in yesterday's post-game meeting as we watch film, before we watch film, try to highlight the fact that defense wins championships, and it's a common saying, so I didn't want to be cliche-ish, but if you just take everything else out of the game, our defense won 16-7. We had 2 pick sixes that went back for a touchdown and then a safety as well. So if you take everything out of it, our defense won that game all by themselves. And just try to put that on them so they understand, what the value is of being a dominant defense. The fans come to see all the points go on the board. At the end of the day, we'll win a championship with a strong defense. I love where we're at as a team. It was an exciting day, and we can get Kyle McBride 6 catches for 123 yards in the first half. And let him rest and recoup in the second half. It's a good day.
Obviously, with a huge win like this, there's always a couple things that could be done better. What were a couple things that y'all could be doing better?
Everything. There were. I think we punted 4 times, so there was 4 drives there that didn't end in a kick, a field goal, or an extra point. We got to get into the red zone. I think we were 5 of 7 red zone score chances. We got to clean that up. Got to do a better job there. I think defensively, we got to get the tackle made first attempt. The one thing with our guys flying around and playing hard and playing fast, a little bit out of control at times. And I think a little bit of that just has to be game 1 stuff of nerves. But defensively, we got to settle down just a little bit more, finish those tackles up front whenever we got the opportunity, and then we got to finish some drives off.
What did you feel like the vibe was with the team, right when you got there, and then obviously it turned into a lot of energy, but overall, what do you think the vibe was with the team getting to that first game?
Well, I think there was a lot of energy and excitement, and that started off, as you talk about just with the team of getting there. First time ever for us, we did a tailgate walk. The buses came in, took 2 buses to the stadium, so it was a lot of new stuff for us this year. And how we operated just pregame, and walked through our tailgate section, and I think that energized a lot of guys. Just seeing the fans out there before the game, and going from there, energy levels were high, and guys were just anxious to get out there and play somebody else.
Do you like the tempo of your offense, how they started out and throughout the game?
We need to be faster. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we got to get cleaned up and how we operate. Some of the things we talked about throughout the game and have hit on as a team of how do we operate to be faster. What are some of the little nuances we can do within a game to help get that ball set a little bit quicker for us. You know, so game one, not bad. Got to get better.
Can you give us a little bit of a report on Northern Michigan and what y'all are looking to, I guess, to improve upon going into this matchup?
Well, from improvement from last year, it'd be the same thing we just talked about from this past game. We got finished drives. You know, I was talking earlier, having watched the game from last year, there was opportunities that we had to put points on the board that we didn't get. We got to be able to connect on those opportunities, whether it be in the run game or the pass game. Defensively, again, I thought our guys played hard, played well last year to hold them 27 points. Tremendous running back they had last year, graduated. It's going to be a different offense coordinator. You know, so we only got one game of film, you know, of what they do this year, and it's quite a bit different. Very run-oriented. You know, we'll see what their game plan is for us. Their defense, same defense coordinator. You know, they play hard. You know, that's the one thing that really stands out about them on film, especially their defense. There's some tremendous effort. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us. Is we got to match effort Saturday night.
Are you still planning on using multiple quarterbacks?
Yes, sir.
Justin, you talked about the maturity of this team all the way through camp, and then it showed on Saturday, obviously, with the response after Waylon scored, and then he hit the big pass to Kyle, and then Darius's play at that point.
Yeah, you know, it's funny to say mature because we played 14 freshmen. Those guys are talented. You know, we got a lot of talent. We do have maturity. We got a fairly large-sized senior class this year for the first time. And I think all of that is starting to blend together, where the seniors are leading by example, they're communicating, like Kyle said, what expectations are, what standards are, how do we operate, and the freshmen that are playing have bought in pretty quickly, and they're athletic. A guy like Darius Hartfield bought in. We just moved him to linebacker a couple weeks ago, and you know, the first thing he said when Coach Martin asked him about moving, he said anything to help the team. And you know, he goes out and gets rewarded, you know, making a play and getting a pick six. You know, and that kind of buy-in across the board is what's going to help the program continue to grow and be more competitive, you know, throughout the conferences, when our guys understand that it's about the team and how can they help us win. Before I step away, I'm going to introduce a special guest here with us today. Gary Speed is with our local football chapter of officials. I'm going to hand it over to him real quick for a special announcement.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. My name is Gary Speed. I'm the signing secretary for the local high school chapter. We have approximately 90 members. About 10 years ago, we were meeting out by the airport. We lost our meeting space. Just wasn't meeting our needs, so contacted UTPBB, and they gave us access to the library conference room. Gives us everything we need. We've been there for 10 years. And out of that, we've developed a lot of good officials that have come out here and advanced up. And last year we thought, you know, UTPB's been good to us. Coach Kerrigan would call and say, I need some officials for scrimmage, and it was like, what time? That's all we needed to know was what time we're there. And there were some mornings when it was 30 degrees and wind was blowing, it was cold and raining, and we were there for him. So, but the university's been good to our association. So last year we decided let's give back to the university where we could. So we, for about 3 weeks, we passed the hat and we came up with $2,000, and we said let's give a scholarship to a local football player. And we let Coach Kerrigan let him be the recipient. So this year we tried something new. We passed the hat, got a large amount of money. We asked Coach if he would donate a football or 2 helmets. So we did that. Mr. Foster donated some shirts and hats, and did a big raffle. I had about 100 people into that. And we came up with a large amount of money. Last year it was $2,000. This year I'll let Coach announce how much it's going to be. But before I turn it over to him, with all the access of the university and the field, we have one referee out of Odessa that's in the Big 12. I have another official who's in the American Conference. He's called at Notre Dame. His biggest game was Army-Navy 2 years ago. We have 2 guys from Conference USA. I have one in the SEC. I'm in the Lone Star going on my 17th year. Got 2 other guys in Lone Star. We have 5 in the development program. The biggest announcement is we have 2 guys in the NFL who are communicators. So when the referee's on the phone, he's talking to our guys from Odessa. And the other one is a college professor out of Lubbock. First year, he came down here and he worked some games with us at Sul Ross. A couple of years later, he's in Conference USA. A couple of years later, he's in the SEC. A couple of years later, his first year, he's in the NFL. His second year, he's in the NFL, and he gets a playoff game. That's unheard of. This year, he's the white hat. He refereed the Seattle game. So we're developing some good officials out of this area. So, but we can't do it without the use of the program. We appreciate that. But I'll turn it over to Coach to present the check.
Gary, we appreciate it, and I think the one thing that doesn't happen enough is the appreciation of the officials. I know Scott and I have talked about we can't play this game without them, and we need to do more to help grow that association and get more officials involved, get more people involved in being officials, so we can continue to grow the sports and help them as well, because we can't play without them. But we thank them for investing back into us. So again, they give a scholarship to us, and then it's up to us to award it. I love the fact that they're from the Permian Basin, so we want to try to keep the scholarship kind of in that direction. So this year, we're going to go with a young man that is in his 3rd year with us from Fort Stockton High School. I'm going to invite him up here with us, Ivan Pena. We'll get Gary to come in here also with us.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Right here, gentlemen. Thank you.
Again, last year it was 2,000, this year it's 3,000. Next year we're going to try to do something different and start raising more money every year for the program.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.